1584, The Good Witch. If this is your first time visiting me, I would like to thank you. While you're here, please like, subscribe, and share this channel. By taking this action, you will be helping the channel to grow. Also, take a moment to read my About page so that you can have some understanding about who I am. I will never copy another person's work, nor will I ever copy another person's title. That is because I am authentically me. This work is a part of my bloodline. I thank you for visiting, and I hope that you will return. Please check out my other videos. All are welcome to share his or her story in the comment section below, because your story may be a helpmate to someone else. My channel is a no judgment zone place for healing in some sort of way. If my video does not resonate with you, please do not try to make it fit your circumstances at all. For anyone else and everyone else that this message does relate to, take from it what will help you on your journey towards your happiness in every area of your life. I am Empress Real 1584, The Good Witch. This channel is all about healing. So let's begin healing together. Yes, I'm doing a general tarot reading. But before I get started with the reading, I wanted to say that this channel is all about resetting, restarting, refocusing. That's what it's all about. Resetting, restarting, and refocusing. You know, I don't throw shade over here. I shed the light. Plain and simple. Because knowledge is absolutely power. Right? Times 10. Knowledge is power times 10. You know, I'm new to the platform. I'm new to this tarot platform. But I'm not new to the world of tarot, psychics, mediums, because I am all of that. I am also a master herbalist, and I really dislike using the title master herbalist, because anything that we do when others don't understand, now they want you to get certified for it, right? My family has been working the root. They have been master herbalists even before I was born. And I am 52 years old. My family, we come from a long line of root workers. We call them root doctors. We call them healers. The world of voodoo, plain and simple. Voodoo. It depends on your vernacular and how you would like to pronounce it. But I come from that world, and that world is in me. It's a part of me. That's the way that I was raised. You know, I've made hundreds of videos that I have posted, and I speak about the world of root work. I speak about the word of herbs. For generations, my family has been a helpmate to many. Yes, spell work is real work. Spell work is real. A lot of people understand it, and a lot of people don't. A lot of times, if a person has roots on them, all spell work is different, but let's just say if a person has roots on them, what happens is predominantly you can become ill. You can go to a doctor multiple times. And when you go to a doctor, they can't find the root of what's wrong with you. They don't know what's wrong. They will tell you that it will pass because they can't find anything wrong with you. You, the person, you feel the remnants. You feel the effects of the work being done on you. But when you go to a regular doctor, they can't treat something that they don't know because it's all spiritual. Spiritual can hurt you, right? In the body, the mind, and in the spirit. You know, Let me give you an example. I had a cousin. His name was Leslie. He's crossed over, right? He was my grandparents' age. So he's been gone for a long time. He was cheating on his wife, and her name was Loxie, right? Leslie and Loxie, true. They lived in North Carolina. Well, Leslie cheated on his wife, and he was never going to leave his wife. So he breaks up with the woman he was cheating on his wife with, and she went to a root doctor. She went to a master herbalist. She went to a voodoo worker. And when she went to the voodoo worker, they told her to put something in Cousin Leslie's yard. It was meant for him to step in, to hurt him, to cripple him, to make him sick, to lose his mind. So the problem with that was his wife walked in the substance of what was put down. And she, in turn, became crippled. She was never the same mentally. So how did Cousin Leslie suffer? Because he had to care for his wife for the remainder of her days, to whereas she could no longer talk. She could not formulate sentences. It would be nice if she said a word or two, but all she pretty much did was sit around, smile or not. Thank goodness she had daughters, and her daughters took care of their mom until the day she passed away. Now you would say, well, why didn't someone take the roots off of her? Why didn't they remove the spell? Yes, a lot of times if the spell is on you for too long, it could be too late. However, there was work done on her. That's why she was still able to walk, but with a helper. Because now, being that she was crippled, she walked on her tippy toes. And her daughters, her husband, when they would bring her outside to walk her around the yard, she would always have to be with someone to lean on, whatever the case may be. But later in life, she was confined to a wheelchair. People do work in many different ways. Spells are cast in many different ways. We are also called healers. And what healers do is that they remove a spell from a person. Now, I did a video like this. You would have to look on my page to find it. But when I did a video and I spoke about healers, such as the people in my family, guess what? People try to piggyback off of that video. And when they piggyback, they try to say that there was no such thing as healers. Let me be clear. Hello, how are you? Let me be clear. We are not the same. We don't believe in the same thing. We may call it this, you may call it that. I'm a small platform, but my platform is growing. I started off with one person, and with that one person, it became many, let me tell you. And that one person stuck with me for about 3 months before I got person number 2. And I kept going because I would always say all I needed was one person. And then the platform, it took off and it started growing. But a lot of people, believe it or not, they follow the platform. But then when they follow the platform, they take bits and pieces of what I say, and then they try to put it in their readings. I said the one main thing that I am going to do is because, you know, with the support that I have now, many people that watch other readers, they send me links. They'll send me videos, they'll send me messages, and they'll say, hey, this person is using the things that you said, you need to listen to it. Or this person is doing this and this and that. I always say dates and times. You know, the beauty of social media is everything is time stamped, everything is dated. So when a person tries to piggyback off of anything that I do, everything is timed and dated. And I'm so appreciative to the masses, to the people that support me and that let me know when someone is trying to piggyback off of me. I am truly grateful to you, but it's unnecessary. I do private readings. I have a personal website. My website is on the front of this page. Click it, it'll take you over to my website. It is Empress Real 1584 thegoodwitch.com. And now you can book an appointment with me. I have some work being done on the website. Something happened to the link on the website to whereas people could leave reviews. I want people to leave honest reviews when I do a reading with them, whether you like me or not. I want the good, I want the bad, I want the ugly, I want it all. However, I haven't had any complaints, so I'm blessed beyond, you know? And, you know, I've always hear people say when I do readings, why are my readings accurate? And it's not me. It's my spiritual team. My messages come from my spiritual team. So that's why my readings are accurate. I never do a reading for anyone without first meditating. After I meditate, then I call on certain individuals to come in to guide me, to assist me with the reading, depending on who the reading is for. Now, I have had people who have gotten mad and they were angry if I didn't read for them. I need to break that down. There was a young lady that I read for, and she was from California. Beautiful spirit, beautiful soul. I enjoyed reading for her. However, before I started these platforms, people knew about me from word of mouth. She, in turn, after the reading, gave my information to a family member. And I did not read for that family member. That family member was angry that I wouldn't read for them. I believe in energy. We are all energy. When this right here, our flesh, when it deteriorates, our soul will not perish. Our soul will live for eternity. Some of us, if you believe, will come back into another vessel. Some of us. It's not everyone that's going to get the opportunities to return. That's why we have past life. Because many people have lived a past life and they've come back into a new vessel. Everyone is not going to get to experience that. But when you're blessed and how you live accordingly, and others, even if they didn't live a just life, you do get to come back because there has to be a balance. Have you ever heard the term good versus evil? There's always a balance between the two, whether we like it or not, right? It would be beautiful to have a world to whereas it was just good, right? But where would the fun be in that? I've heard, I made a video about how spirits are all not friendly. You have certain people that are legit mediums, and they have expressed that they're only good spirits, and that's not the truth. A spirit is how you were here in the physical. So if everybody, when they cross over into a different realm, if you haven't changed, you will still be that same spirit that you were when you were here in the physical. Some people go over into another realm and they change. You know, there's a thing to whereas when a person crosses over, they have to take a look at their lives from when they were in the wound all the way through until the day that they close their eyes. It's the truth. They go through a review. When you've gone through your review, some people, it only takes a day. Some people weeks, some people months, some people years. Seriously, it depends on that soul, how long they stay in their review. That's why when a person freshly crosses over, a lot of mediums like myself, they don't like to try to pull on the energies of a person that just crossed over, because 9 times out of 10, they'll go straight into a review, looking over their lives. And they have to live through every emotion, the good, the bad, and the ugly. How do I know? I've been there. Resuscitated in my life 4 times. As an infant, as an adult. As an adult 3 times. I've been brought back to this realm. I've closed my eyes 3 times. I never get into the story of it because the world feeds off stories. They want to hear what it was like. And everybody's journey is going to be different. I've watched a program actually on YouTube, and I watched a few people talk about their experiences of crossing over. And there were some that absolutely told the truth. And there were some that just fabricated it. I'm the person that just sits back. I observe and I watch. You know what I mean? And even my husband, he's like, you won't say anything. You won't tell me. My kids, they're like, you won't say anything. You won't tell me. But they want to hear every nitty gritty. But it's not for everybody, every nitty gritty. It's just taught me what I'm supposed to be doing here in this realm. And whether I use it to my advantage or not, you know? So everybody's journey is going to be totally different. You know what I mean? And that's a true story. Let me just say that. But I got up here today because I wanted to speak about a few things. And I'm doing this live for a few reasons. First and foremost, I have to say, I am truly grateful to everyone that has been supporting me. I promise you that. I'm grateful for the loyalty because we don't know each other in real life. So I'm grateful for those of you who have been following me. And I just reached over 10,000, and I'm excited. And to many, I'm still small. And maybe that's why they think that they can take from me, because a person wouldn't recognize it. But I have some really great loyal people that I interact with even outside of the platform. I met a young woman in the state where I live. And the funniest story, I found her on Instagram. I was going to a funeral, my husband's funeral, his cousin's. And hey, how are you? And I was going to a funeral, so I found this young lady online on Instagram, and I booked in an appointment with her for her to do my hair for the funeral. And when I booked the appointment, Thank you so much. You stay blessed as well. I booked the appointment with her, and I was sitting in the parking lot of her shop because I started feeling a heaviness. So she called me and she said, I'm going to cancel your appointment. And I said, why? And she said, because you're late. I said, I'm actually outside and I'm in your parking lot. And she said, I was going to cancel because people usually book with me and then they cancel. I said, no, I'm here. I said, can you come out and open the door for me? So I get out of my car and I walk in. Immediately, I'm feeling grandma. And now I'm seeing her life. So I said, listen, before you get started with my hair, I don't know how much you believe in psychics or mediums. I said, but is it okay if I share with you what I see? And she was like, yes. So she was standing behind me, you know, getting ready to do my hair. And I started telling her what I was seeing, telling her about her grandma, telling her about her childhood. And so she comes from around me and she sits in the dryer chair where they have the hood dryer, and she starts crying. And doing this, you know, I have to choke back tears sometimes. And she was like, my goodness. And she was like, you know all of this? And so then we spoke about some personal things that was going on in her life. And I still keep in contact with her till today. Being a master herbalist, and I don't like to use that title because, as I said in the beginning of the reading, anything that's for us, and what I mean by that is people of color. And I know I have different nationalities that watch me, but my tongue wouldn't be the truth if I didn't speak the truth. Anything that we build, they try to destroy. When did someone ever have to get a certificate to be an herbalist? Never. My family for generations have worked the root, are root workers. Root workers, what we do, we use everything, all the resources that is available to us to heal. Some don't heal, some destroy, and it's the truth. Some people put the root on someone, others remove the root off of an individual. What we call the root, we call the spell. Some people cast spells to hurt. Some people remove spells to take away what someone has done to them. So, another example of a spell. I have a sister, and yes, she's still living. My sister, when she was young, maybe about 18 to maybe 21, a guy liked my sister, and she did not date him. I can attest to that. She would always tell him to get out of her face. She didn't want him. He had a girlfriend, and his girlfriend was very jealous of my sister. She felt like something was going on, but there was nothing going on at all. Except for every time this guy saw my sister, he would flirt with her. So I guess it got back to this girl. Anyway, this guy came outside one day because they lived cat a corner. My sister at that time lived in her own apartment, and they lived on the corner on the other side. And he came outside and he was eating something. And my sister was like, give me some, right? And guess what? My sister ate some of it. She got ill. Maybe a week later, she was ill, very ill. So at this time, we lived up north. My aunt, who's a root worker in the state of North Carolina, my mother had to immediately get my sister to her. And as soon as we got there, it was my aunt, it was like she was waiting. It was like she just knew when we were about to walk in that door. And she grabbed my sister and she held her so tight. And she started speaking over my sister. Maybe within about 20 minutes, maybe 15, my sister said she had to go to the bathroom. And we had never moved from the foyer. From the time we came in the house, we had never moved from the foyer. My sister went into the bathroom that was next to the foyer and she started screaming. My mother and my aunt, they open the bathroom door. They go in there with my sister. They would not let me in. I wanted to see. I wanted to be nosy. I wanted to know why my sister was screaming, but they wouldn't let me in. They told me, you stay outside. You stay outside. Do not open this door. So what do you think I'm going to do? I was a stubborn little girl. I didn't listen. I opened the door, and there was a fish in the toilet. A fish, a living fish, came out of my sister's body. That's someone putting roots on you. That's my aunt removing what was done. Yes, the fish was in the toilet. I started screaming too. I was like, what the fuck? Going to my aunt's house, you would see a lot of different things. People came from all around, even from out of the country, to see my aunt. It would be cars from miles and miles down the road waiting because it was in line, first come, first serve. So no one disrespected anyone and tried to cut the line. The line of cars. People sometimes came in busloads to see my aunt. But she didn't need a certificate to say that she was a root doctor or a master herbalist. But anything that we do, anything that we create, they always try to destroy. It's just like with our hair, braiding. When did anyone ever in their life need a certificate for a person to be able to braid their hair or to put dreadlocks? Anything that's not being used with a chemical that you would need to be certified for it, which is ridiculous, right? And down in one of the southern states, they got that law removed because they tried to make you pay for a license to become a certified braider. But yes, I did become a certified herbalist because that's the lay of the land. So they want to take taxes. They want you to pay, right, for you to become certified in a skill that you grew up in. And a skill that we were already doing, whether making toxins. Toxins are medicines, remedies for us, people whose families couldn't get to the doctor, right? A paid practitioner, we couldn't get to the doctor. So people like my family members who were root workers, you would come to them and you would get medicines from them. But these were all herbal medicines. And in some families, generational, these ingredients have been passed down along the way, right? Once again, with me, I'm fine. I'm fine. How are you? With me being up here, with me starting these platforms, I've had so many people. Anytime that I do a reading, anytime that I post a reading up here, people piggyback or they'll mimic or try to copy things that I say, which is horrible. I feel like I'm in high school sometimes, and I'm 52 years old. But these people, when they're fraudulent, what else are you going to do when you recognize a real one, right? My thing is, don't eat and then try to destroy. Don't eat because you won't gain. You never take from someone and don't share where you've gotten it from. And we're not the same. My platform is me, Empress Real 1584, the Good Witch. I'm not a part of any community. I'm not a part of any community or any other person that's affiliated with these channels. I have been asked to join certain individuals who you see on television. I have been asked to join and become affiliated with a lot of big names, as you would call big names. But the reason why I never did it is because I can't be a part of anyone's tribe except for my own family lineage. A lot of times people, others, they go across the world and they try to learn from. Then they come back and try to teach, charge money, and they want to act like they're the biggest psychics or they're the biggest mediums because they have the knowledge of, and it's not true. We pray to different gods. We have different ancestors. And just because you've done your homework and you've learned and found out information about who we are, it doesn't mean that you can use the same gods that we pray to, that we meditate to, that we conjure to ask for favor. You can't. We are the children of the sun. We are the sun god children. We didn't come from caves and be rejected from the sun. We are the direct descendants. There's a video going around on YouTube, and it speaks about DNA. This video not only speaks about DNA, but it speaks about my bloodline. It has my relative's picture. People always try to jump out to share other people's stories instead of coming to the source. When I say I am, I mean that I am. I come from a long line of healers. Yes, we do root work, we do voodoo, but we don't hurt because there are certain protocols that we have to follow. Are we all the same? Absolutely not. I still have a cousin, too, in North Carolina that still does root work. Then there's me. Then I have my daughter. She's on my website as well, to whereas you can book a reading with her. She's Alberta Butterfly, and she does psychic readings, mediumship readings, and she does tarot readings as well. When you come across pages and people say, learn to be a psychic, $500. Learn to be a psychic, $1,000. Learn to be a psychic medium, $20,000. Why would you pay that? Our bodies, we are God body. Each and every one of us, it doesn't matter your nationality. It doesn't matter. We are all souls. People that study the Bible, that read the Bible clearly says that God is in you, for he that is in the world. Anybody that practices spirituality, which is freedom, we don't go by a book. We divinely know from our lineage things that were passed down, that we are the source. So if we are the source, that means that we are God's. We are a part of the divine. But we all pray to, and we come from different descendants. We pray to different gods. You, depending on what nationality you are, you can't pray to my God. Absolutely not. Because our gods, we come from a protecting spirit. A spirit that gives us these natural gifts and abilities for us to be able to use to pass down for generations. You see, my message will always be clear. I am from the sun. Plain and simple. I am divine. I am a sun child. Others are cave beasts. You know, we are two diametric opposites. How can I say? This means diametrically opposed. This signifies that two things, person or place, are not just slightly different, but fundamentally and irreconcilably opposed. You know, our views will also be diametrically opposed as well. We support different entities. We support different gods. My people build, and others try to destroy everything that we build or that we have built. You know, anything spoken by others is garbage, period. I've had other nationalities, people that are not like me, jump in. And when I speak about voodoo work, when I speak about root work, voodoo, whatever you want to call it, root doctors, I have people jump on and try to piggyback, and they want to give their example of, and you can't do that. You have no link to us. You have no link to our divine. It's crazy. It behooves me how people think that they can tear your words apart or try to mimic your words and copy to pretend that it belongs to them. In my bio, on my about page, I directly tell you who I am. I directly tell you what I do. The reason why I do that is because everyone has a choice. And with people having a choice, you have to know who you're following, who you are becoming a part of, who you're listening to. It's so important for you to do that, because you can be getting in the bed with a demonic spirit, but you would never know. You would think that everything they said sounds so good, but you don't know that some people do come to harm, to trap souls. So you always have to be careful with whom you get into the bed with. You know, I started my platforms to build, to teach, and most importantly, to uplift. However, many have tried to take, steal, and destroy. But now they are learning that we aren't the same. They didn't welcome me. They intentionally tried to take my messages because they fear my growth. By stealing from me my readings, my messages, they thrive off of them. But they didn't realize that my ancestors are my greatest supporters. And people who support me found them out. When I speak on truth, they get closed mouth quickly. They would want nothing more than to sabotage me. But dates and times matter on videos. They didn't realize that I am greater than the system. They didn't realize that I am greater because of who I am. I've tried to explain this in so many ways, in different forms, in different fashions, but I hope today everyone listens. Yes, many have stolen my credit and the credit of my ancestors, but that was not a beautiful move at all. So to see the fraud in these people is coming to the light. They have tried to take my style, my mannerisms, and my verbiage, my aura. But how can you try to take away from somebody when we're all uniquely made? You know, they all realize that I am a rare occurrence. I am. When I enter into anyone's life, it is on an oracle. I am an oracle. I walk with many oracles. Oracles walk with me, and sometimes many are omens. I am a divine symbol. I have reached the age that anybody can get it. I'm 52 years old. When you've reached that age that anybody can get it, that means that you're just tired of playing with people. Understand that in every life that I have lived, including this one, that I am divinely protected. You know, people come to me often, and I always say, not by my hands. If somebody thinks that they can talk to you sideways, if somebody thinks that they can do something, say something to you, and then shit starts happening in their life, and then people, that's when they want to run back, they want to double back, and they'll be like, Empress, no, that's them. That's them. That's them. My ancestors, they don't play about me. I acknowledge them in all of my ways. Every single day, every minute of the day, I'm always acknowledging my ancestors. People don't realize when you mess with someone that's divine, that their life will fall apart when you wrong them. I am sick of ugly people. I am. I'm so sick of ugly people. I am not speaking about their physical looks. I am speaking about how ugly a person's soul is, how ugly their heart is, and how ugly their actions are. You can't expect to mistreat people and expect there not to be any consequences for real. You can't. Decency is the price. You always have to pay for access to me and my gods. Access to help, access to support, access to consideration. You better get ready to handle life on your own. People assume that I am quiet. I am quiet because I am observant. I am very observant. People always say, Empress Real One, when they see me in public, you're so quiet. And the reason why I am, because I'm observant. I'm studying your move when you slither, because I recognize the snakes around me. I recognize the snake, the serpent in someone's soul. That's why I don't read for everyone. I read for a young lady in California, and then a few of her family members wanted me to read for them, but I didn't like them. I didn't like their aura. I didn't like their energy. I recognized the serpent inside of them. So all money isn't good money. You know, people are snakes. And what are we taught to do with snakes? In my family, in my bloodline, we're told to chop the head off and separate the head from the body. You take the head off the snake. I wish more and more of you understood, but let me give you this for free. For the first of many lessons that I'm going to teach on this platform, there is no such thing as the main bitch. People are in competition on these platforms for no reason. There is no such thing as the main bitch or the side bitch or the first bitch. Please let me make this clear. I am the only. I stand with none of these psychics, these mediums, these tarot readers. I stand solo. I am the only. And I say that respectfully to you dumb bitches. I warned you. And this is the last time that I'm going to warn. We always have to send out the smoke signal before we act. I am so dope. And what do we know about dope? What do we know? We know that it sells itself. When you get a little taste, people become addicted to dope. I am dope. You know, jealous people often imitate my style. It's their silent way of competing. I never in my life have competed with anyone. I have this mother who's so dope to me. I have this mother who is so beautiful and who loved me. I have this mother that when you looked at her, she was beautiful on the outside just as well as the inside. And who she was spoke volumes to many. I have this mother that I watched her grace and I watched her love people, no matter who they were, whether they had and had not. I watched a mother who tried to help many even when she didn't have much. I had this mother that taught me to do this and not this. I don't know how to walk around with my head down. I'm that dope. I love me. I had this mother from a young age who taught my sisters and I how to always hold our head high, no matter how we felt. I have this mother who told me that I am everything that everyone is not. Let me just say there's all eyes on me, because envious eyes will always linger longer than they should, silently comparing until you realize that I am. My mother taught me that. You downplay my success, not because my platform is small, but because my platform makes you feel smaller. You realize that you have been watching a real one. I am that dope. You copy my words and my ideas, then act like you thought about it first, but don't forget dates and times. Plain and simple. Date and time equals plain and simple. I was taught that only a fool would not learn from experience. But sometimes you have to jump out and show people. I prayed to my ancestors. I meditated with them. And I said, do them the way that you would do anyone that lies, that steals, that cheats. See, a person is going to always be authentically who they are. A liar is going to be a liar. A thief is going to be a thief. An addict is going to be an addict. An alcoholic is going to be an alcoholic. And a hoe is just going to be a hoe. Everybody is going to be who they are. You can't change anyone. A person has to know who they are. And once you know who you are, you have to accept who you are. And I've only accepted that I am. I've only accepted that I am. I believe in respect. I believe in fairness. I believe in loyalty. I believe in don't be the cause of anyone's hurt. How a person feels about you is going to be how they feel about you. But you always have to remember that you are as I am. I believe in karma. And in my bio on my About page, I've let it be known 1,000 times that karma is my best friend. I come from a bloodline that has no debts to pay. My bloodline doesn't have any debts to pay at all because we are. I see that people have been making videos about my bloodline. But we will tell our own story at the appropriate time when all the members agree. My family, we're the oldest bloodline. We're the oldest. So no, you can't come here and take. You can't come here and steal. You can't come here and think that you're going to do great because you've taken from me because you think people don't see me. But many have. And the most important ones are my ancestors. Spirit guides, help me to deliver the most accurate message that I possibly can for whomever needs to hear it. Show me what I need to see. Tell me what I need to hear. Thank you. That bell has been in my family for generations. Let me tell you. When I was young, I used to ask my mother for that bell. Before my mother got it, my great aunt had it. And on my great aunt's desk, she would always keep that bell. She would use it in her readings when people would come to see. She wouldn't use it for everyone, but for certain ancestors that she was called on when she was working the root, she would use the bell. And as a child, I'd always stare at that bell. And then when she crossed over, my mother got the bell. And I said, Mom, will I ever get that bell? She was like, when I'm not here. And I said, I don't want it then. She said, you'll want it. And the day that my mom closed her eyes, I rushed straight to her house. And I got that bell. Some people want money. Some people want clothing and shoes and jewelry, right? When someone dies. They want what they think is valuable. But what's valuable is that bell. That's what was valuable to me. So I went and grabbed that bell. Let's get to this reading. Ooh, that one flipped out, right? Not going to take any reversals because this is not a private, personal reading. I do personal readings on my website. Spirit guides, what message do you have for someone? This one fell over too. Listen, there's someone who's acting hot and cold towards you, right? Sometimes they like you and sometimes they don't. This is someone that is acting hot and cold towards you. They're sending you mixed signals. One minute they act like they want to be with you. The next minute they don't. You might be their secret. You know, everybody has had a secret, right? Well, not everybody. Most people have had a little secret. But you're tired of being a secret. I'm speaking to someone that's tired of being a secret. When we're together, you're all up on me. When we're together, you want me. When we're around people, you want to act like you don't want me. This is someone that's been acting hot and cold. I don't think anybody ever wants to be in the position of being the person that's hidden. Everybody wants to stand out. See, some people think that it's okay to be the main bitch. I don't want that position. Some people are okay with being the side bitch. I don't want that position either. I don't want to be any one of those bitches. But I want to be the only one. Because I am. My position is only to be the only. Somebody is being hot and cold towards someone. Absolutely. And you're tired of playing that game. And the only way to not play the game is to get out the way. Move on. We have, you are my drug. Yeah, you are their drug. Because in private, you fill them up. You do all the things that the only one should be doing. But you're not their only one. This person is addicted to you. But then they don't want to be with you in public. They don't want to introduce you to their friends as their lady or their man. So they just use you. And not unless you like being used, it's time to go. I don't think anybody likes to be used. So it's time to reset. It's time to refocus and it's time to restart. At the bottom of the deck, we have, you're my obsession. Absolutely. This is someone who is obsessed. You may have that good, male or female. You may be somebody that's great in bed, right? But it's an unhealthy attachment. This person only wants you when it comes to the bedroom. But you are not having any peace because you want more. They don't want more. They can't give you more. They don't desire to because it's not you who they want to be with. I am Empress Real 1584, the Good Witch. I'll send to you nothing but love and light.